for me to introduce about our company, because we just talked about doing the builder's perspective just now with the Fortune 500 companies. And now I want to kind of talk into how the actual enterprises can build their own agents and what is the requirements with the role of AI infrastructure in the world of agentic AI. So I think the key question I think everyone has is, what does it take to implementing a cutting-edge AI agent and production ready for enterprises? And right now, all the enterprises are, as we all just heard, are trying to build some kind of a proprietary LLM agent inside to either enhance their revenue or some kind of scale their productivity and efficiency for some kind of very labor manual task inside. And in order to actually have a really functional production-ready agent, we have to take a step back and see the entire overview of what is required in building an actual production-ready agent. And I know a lot of VCs have created their own kind of stack overview, and I created my own. And I think there are really 4 key layers to it: the agent layer, data, model, and AI infrastructure. And here, I really wanted to tackle on the context of the AI infrastructure where we lie, and why it's like the backbone of the agent layer. So as we already know, agents require memory, tools, and agent frameworks. And also, you have your own proprietary data inside the enterprises. And with that, you're trying to build some kind of proprietary LLMs that can function to actually execute some kind of task. And in order to do that, the AI infrastructure is now important more than ever. So in order to actually define to know what the needs are for AI infrastructure, we need to see what are agents really. And to define the agents, thank you. I think from the past 3 years, we have seen a lot of AI applications so far, tackling some kind of a wrapper for some kind of task and really strict it into some kind of workflow. And I've also been building a lot of AI applications for financial analysts and also for hedge funds, and I also come from a background in management consulting, and I know there's a lot of labor-intensive work there, so I try to automate that process. And the problem with the traditional workflow style AI applications is that it is really strict to that typical workflow, and it's not capable of scaling. And that's why agents come in, and that's the differentiation, where agents are capable of doing the thinking, which is defining what the actual task is, and next, doing the reasoning on how to actually execute that task. And the actual action of executing the task, which it will have some kind of tool embedded into it. And with that process, the output goes back into memory and learns, iterates, and performs in a better scale. With this continuous cycle, it will require a lot of computing. And due to that reason, I think AI infrastructure will also be more important going in, and now why it's more important than ever. And to further more deep dive into it, I think we have to talk about what the challenges of the agents. And I think there are really 3 key challenges here. Is that for easy, just words, it is compute hungry. Number 2, it's always long running, executing complex agents tasks, and also it sometimes can be unpredictable. And which means that the unpredictability comes from lack of monitoring, lack of management, and lack of efficiency in the actual AI infrastructure layer. And this is all running on your AI infrastructure. So I think a lot of enterprises are really now focusing on how do we build our own data center, how do we build our own on-premise infrastructures inside. And the reality is that hardware is just not enough. And without the proper management of GPU or cloud infrastructures that you guys are using, it comes into challenges and problems of resource underutilization, scheduling conflicts, and also cost overruns. And for especially big scale enterprises, they could become a really big problem where a little glitch or a little problem in some kind of agent executing the task could cause cost overruns. And this is in the AI, for AI engineers, it looks something like this, where engineers are actually facing some kind of outage, and this is actually Although I'm not an engineering background, I have been doing somewhat of a PM role and building my own AI application back then, and this is actually my own experience. And although this is an API for OpenAI, from OpenAI, your proprietary LLM will also have facing some kind of outage inside as well, which can also, another problem that can occur is some kind of API spikes, which concludes to cost overruns. And this can be really critical for big scale enterprises. So that is why I know this is my fifth or sixth time saying, but AI infrastructure is, I think, the enablers of enterprise AI agent success. So now we get that there's a really big problem on actually putting production ready, level ready enterprises into enterprises. And in order to solve that, we need an AI infrastructure. And what is it? I think it goes down to three key layers, becoming an MLOps, GPU orchestration, and also underneath, which is the bare metal GPU and cloud, which could become a form of on-premise or multi-cloud structure. So, and on top of that, in order to schedule agents' GPU uses efficiently, that's where the GPU orchestration part comes in, and also the MLOps side, ensuring reliability of the agent model and deployment, and also monitoring and updates. And I think this is where the big transition came from of the end-to-end MLOps definition, where in the previously, back in 2022, where the actual APIs were mostly used, there weren't a lot of attention in the actual training sequences of creating their own enterprises or even startups creating their own proprietary LLMs to serve certain tasks, which is now called agents. And that's why back then we were only focused on model tracking, training, CI/CD, and deployment kind of features. But now with all the agents, in order to function really well, you need features. MLOps now need features like inference, fractured GPU, scheduling, and also tackling on air gaps for security reasons as well. And to wrap this up, I wanted to introduce Vessl AI, where we are the orchestrator for GPUs, models, and agents. And I just mentioned about the key features that MLOps required. We actually started from the GPU layer, GPU ops side, having more expertise since starting in 2021. And we gradually expanded our layers to the model and agent layer, now focusing on a more seamless and end-to-end solution. And as you already heard, we are from Korea, and we have started, and now right now we are making a lot of initiatives to expand in the US. And our majority of the portfolio includes Hyundai and Hana Life, which are Fortune 500 companies in Korea, and also serving foundation model startups such as Scara Labs and also application like Ripson. And for the initiatives, we are right now partnered with Oracle and also part of the NVIDIA Inception program, working closely to integrate, have already integrated NIM and NeMo into our platform, and also serving enterprises with the baseline of the two companies. And to introduce some use cases, we have Hyundai, which is, their problem challenge was that they required really frequent data collection cycles for autonomous driving, and this required a lot of manual data labeling work, and it was just not predictive at all. And that's where we came in to create a white level MLOps layer just for Hyundai, and as a result, we were able to deploy the model, reduce the model deployment from 33 days to 2 days, and also the dedicated data engineers that were doing the manual work were now 0, and there was only one person who was really just managing the actual platform. And to continue with another startup success story, there is Scara Labs, which they create their own foundation models, and they're really well known in Korea. And with them, since they are required to train very frequently and continuously, the number of training sessions are a key metric for them. And within the same timeline, we were actually able to increase from 50 days to 244 days. I mean, from 50 to 244 sessions, sorry, and also reducing tremendously of the cloud spending per year from $9.4 million to $2.1 million within the same given time. So to wrap this all up, Vessl AI, we are right now envisioning that AGI will come with almost 100 plus models, including the open source, closed, and also your own proprietary LLMs for any enterprise or SMBs out there. And in order to actually scale, have the scalability and also production level ready agents, right now, these fine-tuning sequences are mandatory. And that's where really, to fill in the middle layer gap, that's where Vessl comes in. And we hope, and for the ask, I think we are requiring 2 specific asks right now. If you know any startups or model providers that are in need to reduce costs in their GPUs, in the uses of GPUs, or any enterprises that are like HANA or Hyundai who are trying to implement their own proprietary LLMs, scan for a demo and also introduce us and find me back over there at the table and talk to one of our teams. Thank you.